You are now tuned in to HBCU Live with National Alumni Council President Anthony H. Brown and Common Black College Application founder Robert Mason and producer Tia Mache Johnson. This is not just a show, it's an experience. It's a conversation with intention, purpose, and focus. So for the next hour, join us here on HBCU Live.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of HBCU Live. It's not just a show.
It's an experience.
It really is. I'm Anthony Brown. I got my good friends as always, Tia Mache Johnson and Robert Mason from the Common Black College Application. It's July 7, 2020. Hope you've been having a great week so far. Hope you had a wonderful, restful past weekend and whatever you did with your family and friends. I hope you had a great time, right, guys? How you doing?
It was
my birthday. My birthday.
Yes, it was your birthday.
So Tia, what'd you do?
My husband hooked me up. He took us for couples massages. We went to a French restaurant for dinner. And the best thing, he got me my concealed carry class. So I'm excited.
Concealed carry as in a weapon?
For my gun. Mm-hmm.
For your gun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gun-toting Tia. Gun-toting Tia.
That's right.
What kind of gun? What kind of gun do you have?
Gotta protect ourselves. Gotta be safe out here in these streets.
Well, we don't want her to go get the gun. I mean, like, Robert, you acting like she about to go pull out the gun right now.
No, it's for protection. It's for home security. It's what a gun is for. You better be prepared and know how to use it. You just don't be, we ain't running the streets acting crazy now.
No. I mean, I actually thought about a couple months ago going to driving range. Shooting range. But I chickened out. I wasn't. I don't know. Seemed like every YouTube video I look at, the bullets are like popping up out of the gun when you shoot.
Yeah, they do, but I mean, they don't hurt. I mean, it's not. Yeah, they don't hurt.
I'll have to think about that once this pandemic is over. But guys, let me tell you, I am truly agonizing over the fact that this time last year, 2 days from this time last year, I was on the way to Amsterdam. I have not felt isolated until this point.
Really?
Because they have one of the largest jazz, it's called the North Sea Jazz Festival. It is one of the largest jazz festivals in the world. And I went just by happenstance last year. And I had a ball, and I was truly looking forward to that event. And they do something called a Kwaku Festival during that same time period. It's
the what kind of festival?
Kwaku. I could be saying that wrong. If somebody's out there from the Netherlands, please let me know if I'm saying this correctly.
Okay.
It's a Kwaku Festival which celebrates the abolition of slavery, and it brings together Europeans, people from the Caribbean and South America. Okay. And it's a month or either a month and a half long event, and they celebrate it every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for a month and a half. And I had an absolute ball. And the one thing that made it so great, everybody in Amsterdam speaks English because you learn English from the time that you're in grade school to the time that you finish school. So, up until the last few days, I've been able to tolerate this isolation, but it's been a little tough. It's been a little tough the last few days.
I think everybody's getting a little crazy not being able to travel.
Absolutely.
Listen, I think people that got all kind of just somewhat in their feelings and they just going house crazy. They just like they can't get out. I need y'all to go back to work or find a hobby, read a book. Stay off of social media like you ain't got nothing to do with your life.
No, but wait. Before you get off of social media, there's one thing I want you to see.
Oh, dear.
People. Before you get off of social media, there is one thing. I want you to go I want you to see my co-host in all his splendor. Splendors, whatever. What's the word? Splendor. In all his splendor. Did you see the picture, Tia? Did you see the picture? You haven't seen the picture?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God!
I don't live on social media until I have to.
Let me ask my fellow host, would he mind posting that picture? Till you gotta see it.
You gotta see it. It's on my main page.
You gotta see it.
It's on my Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Because everybody knows about Anthony's weight loss. Guys, I was so proud when I saw that picture, man. I'm proud of you. Absolutely. That picture is indelibly etched in my mind forever. So how was your week, my brother? How was your week?
Listen, so I have been taking it easy, still being cautious. I don't know about, I know a lot of cities. So side note, real quick, Keisha, oh my gosh, Keisha got the COVID.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Who's got the COVID?
The mayor of Atlanta.
Oh.
She said, oh.
Wait, don't do like that. And Stephanie. Tia, Stephanie got the COVID too.
Who is Stephanie?
Stephanie who?
Stephanie House.
No, really?
Girl, you better listen.
I got to send her a text.
No, who's Stephanie House?
You got to put both of them on the prayer list.
I know. What?
So they both came out. So Stephanie House is one of our state representatives here in Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we went to high school. Stephanie and I went to high school together.
Wow.
And so for those who may be watching, again, this coronavirus and COVID situation is serious. So please, if you have to go outside, you got to go to the store, wherever you please, make sure you got your mask on, making sure you're keeping yourself sanitized, keep your little small thing, sanitizer in your pocket, your purse, your bag, something. When you go to the grocery store, make sure you're wiping that.
And wear your mask.
Wear your mask, please. I mean, you got to, you just, not just for others, but for yourself at the same time. So, but with that.
Does Cleveland have a mandate? I think Cleveland has a mandate that they have.
Yeah. The mayor, Frank Jackson of Cleveland, he put a mandate up this past weekend saying, yeah, you got to put the mask on. I don't care.
Does Atlanta have a mandate, Robert? He don't know.
I don't go anywhere.
Robert don't go nowhere.
I don't go anywhere. Hey, look, I go to the grocery store and the gym and back home. So if it's a mandate, it came from Keisha. It didn't come from the governor.
So, but I was in the gym today with my mask on. I'm like, I'm gonna work this mask on. I had my own sanitizer, wiping stuff down. I was just like, I got to make sure I'm safe, but safe and well and healthy all at the same time. So again, my weight loss journey has been a journey. My biggest weight was 450, y'all.
Wow.
I'm trying to maintain this 195, and so I do these before and after pictures to kind of just make sure I'm not crazy. And so I did a before and after.
Okay, I'm gonna go look. Instagram. I've known Anthony. Y'all don't know. I've known Anthony for a long, long time. We know each other for a long, long, long time, and his commitment, his thoroughness, and his dedication to his health, in order to be dedicated to his family, in order to be dedicated to his organizations, he is a good example of what it means to put of health and well-being. When you put that first, how you can just grow and flourish and elevate. So I am so proud. Anthony got me motivated. Look, 60 pounds down, we still working.
That's a good point, because so many things can come about as a result of being in a quote unquote healthy state. You know what I mean? And it's definitely something that I think Anthony should be commended for. And again, that's what I thought about when I saw the picture, because having met when he was, how do you describe it, bro?
I was huge. I was over. Look, the doctors calls it morbidly obese. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I was fat as hell. That's what it was.
No.
Huge. And I was comfortable. I was miserable. Though I was smile, y'all have no idea the pain behind that smile. It hurts like hell.
But you know what? I don't know whether it was the post meeting that we were having where Tia said that you should do something, a dedicated show, or at least half the hour. Tia, was that? Did we say that on air last week, or?
We may have.
But
you asked me what I said last week.
Anyway, listen, I'm not gonna be bothered. Listen, it's not about, listen, this, again, thank you all for watching. It's not just a show.
It's an experience.
It is an experience. So thank you for allowing us, because, you know, so you can take another look at the experiences of our lives. But now, before we go, again, hit that like button, hit the share button, let somebody else know what's happening. So we got a great alum today. She's an alumnus of Lane College, located, Lane is in Tennessee. Jackson, Tennessee. Yes.
Yeah.
Lane College in Jackson, Tennessee. Her name is Kinna Thomas. Listen, she's a business professional. She actually got her own weight loss story that I'm hoping we'll get a chance to talk about. But if y'all, let me go back real quick. Y'all remember them patty pies that just took the world by storm a couple years ago? And I mean, the one young man, he did a whole song, and they was just doing all this phenomenon. Listen, this lady right here was the marketing brainchild behind the patty pie phenomenon. So I'm so glad we happened to meet within the HBCU Alumni United group. And she just told me a little bit about her story. I am so glad that there's her Instagram name right there. If you want to follow her, you want to keep up with her storyline. There's her, at the real Kinna right there. Y'all, welcome to the show, girl.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
All right. So now, let's, like to always jump in here to kind of get it started, kind of get my, test the water, see where we can go, what we can do. So let's talk first about, wait, did I lose you? Okay, there we go. Lane College. How did you get there? What was the connection? What was your inspiration to get to Lane College?
It's so interesting that you asked that question, because I ended up going to college without planning to go to college. I say that because I was talking to a friend. It's so interesting. I wanted to own my own business. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, right? So I was like, I'm just going to go to own my own business and own a franchise and figure life out from that perspective. But then I was talking to a friend that I grew up with, and he encouraged me to reach out to a guidance counselor over at Lane. I'd never even heard of Lane before. Lane is located in Jackson, Tennessee. At the time, it was about 1,000 students or so. So never even heard of the school. I ended up reaching out to this lady, had a good conversation with her. She put me on the phone with a guy, and I did not know who this guy was at the time. We were chatting a little bit, and he said, please just give us a chance. And I promise you, if you give us a chance, then we will take care of you. Because my complaint at the time was I didn't have enough money to go to college. I'm a first generation college student, did not plan to go to college. It was June, by the way. School, you start to get down there at the end of July, right? So I was not prepared. I did not take the ACTs. I did not take the SATs. I did not do any of the college preparatory things that you're supposed to do. And a part of that was I didn't have anybody teaching me those things to do either, right? So that was a portion of it. And then the other portion of it was that I didn't think that was in my realm or scope. And so the guy that I ended up talking to was actually the president of the college. And it warms my heart so much because at that moment we became family. So I had an opportunity to go to Lane because he gave me a chance. He believed in me because he saw how serious I was about owning my own business and like moving forward. It just, being able to articulate at such a young age, but it was really an opportunity of a lifetime. But that just shows the difference between having one person believe in you. And, here I am 3 degrees later, because of that, because somebody believed in me.
Awesome sauce. Wow. And you had no idea you were talking to the college president?
No clue. Not even a little.
So Kinna, none of your friends were interested in going to college necessarily. So this just sort of by you wanting to be an entrepreneur and meeting the president of Lane kind of set things in motion.
Yeah, so to answer your question though, I did have friends that were going to college. I was actually in a college preparatory program at the school in terms of education. But as far as doing any best practices or anything like that, I didn't do that. But there were 9 students that were going to Sumner High School, by the way, which is the oldest Black high school west of the Mississippi. Super proud of Sumner. And that's the school I went to, and they were doing things to prepare students to go to college. So I had friends going to college. I just didn't have interest in going. That was just the way it was.
Wow. So what was it like when you showed up on campus that first day, not even thinking that you would be going to school?
Surreal. Like, to be honest with you, it was completely surreal. And I knew I had to prove something. I had to prove something to this person that believed in me. I had to prove something to my family. More importantly, I had to prove something to myself that I could actually carry this out, that I could actually do this. And so that was really what it was like. It was surreal.
Wow.
So now I'm gonna fast forward this, so we can just get to the meat of it all. How did you get connected with Patti LaBelle and this whole phenomenon with this sweet potato pie?
Yeah, so I used to, it's such an amazing story, but I used to run a really large business. And with that being said, I would seek out entrepreneurs and try to figure out ways to connect to make sure that customers have what they need. One of the biggest gaps that I saw starting within the fresh bakery was there was a need to actually have a better sweet potato pie. Every pie that I tasted has some opportunity, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Like, it was a little rough. Like, it just did not taste good. It did not taste like what my palate was used to, like what I grew up with my mom cooking or anything like that. And so I decided that I was going to change it and change the entire pie industry in the process. And with that being said, went out, scoured the market, figured out what was in stores, what they taste like. Did not like most of those, to be honest with you, and said, okay, who do I know with the best recipe? And so this part might shock you a little bit. So I called my mom and I said, Mom, can I use your recipe? She's like, yeah, baby. Just listen to this. You got to hear me out on this one. And then so I was like, okay. I'm going to use my mom's recipe and I'm going to take my mom's recipe to market and my mom's going to be in stores. That's just the way it's going to be. And so I started thinking at night, talking to my husband, and I was like, you know what? I need some street credibility. As a 30-something-year-old female at the time, would I buy a pie from the grocery store? No, right? So what would make me buy a pie? And I texted my boss at the moment and said, hey, I have an idea. Just trust me on this one. And she was like, go for it. Just go for it. And I Googled, no kidding, I Googled famous people with sweet potato pie recipe. Patti's name is the first name that came up. Well, when her name came up, I decided to reach out to her. And guess what? You can't just call Patti, because I thought you could. You can't just do that. No. And so,
you
because
can say her
of
name,
that,
but you just can't call her. You can say her name.
Right. You can say her name. And so I decided at that moment that I was going to figure out that evening how to get in contact with her. And I was able to find that she had just launched 2 weeks prior a food website. And on the food website, I left a compelling message. And I told them who I was and what I was trying to do. And I expected to hear from someone within 24 hours. So it was a boss up email is what that was, right? Like, I expect to hear from you within 24 hours. Within 9 hours, I was on the phone with her team. And and then, so I remember, though, there's a gap that I have to fill. So this was my mom's recipe. So now I have to figure out, how do I take all the learnings that we got from using mom's recipe down the, facility and like down the testing and production line? How do I take that to whatever this is that Patti has going on? So sent her what we had, got her recommendations, changed some things about it. A lot less mom, a lot more Patti, right? Figured out how to.
Was mom okay with this though? I mean, was like, yes, no, maybe so?
Yeah. So interesting, because mom was good with it all. Mom was really good with it all until we added some cinnamon. I know what you're thinking. Sweet potato pie has cinnamon. Well, not our original version. So my mother doesn't eat cinnamon, so she didn't love that part. But just be okay with the fact that we did end up with Patti's version, right? That you all were able to do. But anyway, within 9 hours, I was on the phone with her team, just getting back there. And then we had some really great conversations, sent her the recipe, had to transition it more to Patti, and then went to production on it. And literally, I believed in it from the moment it happened. I bought double what I typically would buy, and I was selling out double at the time before we even went to this state of being viral. But really, what it was seeing this need in the market and filling that void, and then allowing us to have something that actually tastes really good. I'm forever grateful for all the good experiences that came as a result of that, but that's how I got in contact.
Hold on, Kim. Hold on. I have this image of you, your mom, and Patty in the kitchen with her shoes off and y'all trying different ingredients. Is that the way it played out?
A little bit, not really though. I don't want to mess up your dreams. Okay?
I mean, that's what I think, because when you think of Patty, if you've ever seen her in concert, she's taking her shoes off, she's taking all of that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So just help me understand how that came. I mean, I get that you arrived at this final product, but did some of it happen in somebody's kitchen? Well, it had
to happen in somebody's kitchen, right? Like it had to. Right, that's where all food is born, is in the kitchen, right?
Absolutely.
You have to have it in the kitchen. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of love that happened there too. There was a lot of making, a lot of baking, a lot of making sure that things were right. A lot of things that you have to understand too about food production is it's more than just does something taste good. Because a lot of people have come to me for various different reasons about, oh, my mama got this recipe and it tastes good. Well, that's awesome. But putting it into production is a whole different ballgame. Right. So a lot of the things that happened in the kitchen had to also transition over to a manufacturing facility that could produce in mass quantities, right? So a lot of the testing actually happened in labs as well, like tasting in labs and like making sure that everything actually tastes. How do you take something from home cooked to like, a manufacturing facility, but still make it feel like home? Because we couldn't obviously bake every pie in an oven at home. Just for capacity purposes. So there was a lot of good learning that came from that, and a lot of collaboration with Ms. Babel. She's by far one of the most incredible people I've ever met. And I adore her and I love her cooking.
Wow. And I would have to assume that the amounts, the quality of the experiences that you had on that journey are something that can't even begin to be replaced. Now, is it something that can be replicated?
So I'm going to go with no. I'm going to go with no because you're right. These were once in a lifetime opportunities and experiences, right? So, I mean, I got a whole bunch of stuff that was career gratifying for me. So being in Fortune, Forbes, Black Enterprise, like whatever, like BT, CNN, like all over the place. That stuff was all cool and everything. But really what I took from it more than anything is that when you have a business plan and you are set on making that a reality, it can actually come to fruition. Right. It's just a matter of, you got to be, I'm going to use the term crazy. You got to be crazy enough to believe in yourself and believe in that idea and push it, because I was pushing the idea, right? It was something that was just born out of thin air and just pushed like crazy. And some really cool things happened culturally. I remember at that time that that things went viral. The conversations we were having were really about, civil unrest, the things that were going on with Mike Brown. Right. A lot of the conversations on social media. So this was the pie. I don't mean to say it in this way, but it really was a good unity, a way of providing unity and laughter within our community after seeing James go viral with that. So it was just all a part of purpose. It was really just designed for purpose.
So is the pie still available? I know it was mass marketed and grocery stores and things of that nature throughout the country. I mean, I don't hear as much about it as before, but I'm assuming it's still out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And here's reality. Reality is not only is the pie still out there, but the pie still continues to grow and thrive. People still love it just as much as they loved it before. Just because they're not tweeting and Facebooking and talking about it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a kitchen staple for them. So a lot of people absolutely love it. It's been 5 years. I can't believe
it's every year.
Wow. Which is awesome. And you know what? I'm a pie person, so I'd rather have that than birthday cake. I shouldn't say that out loud, but I would rather have a good sweet potato pie rather than having birthday cake at the moment. I still do both, though.
So wait a minute. So I'm glad you brought that up. So because now I did mention earlier, for those who may have just tuned in again, this is the real Kinna. If you follow on Instagram, but Kinna Thomas from Alumnus of Lane College, located in Jackson, Tennessee. And Again, we've been talking to her about her experiences, working with Patti LaBelle, creating this phenomenon with this sweet potato pie. But then you had a whole other journey that you did, a whole weight loss journey. So I'm curious, like, how are you able to manage still having all your sweets and being able to manage this weight loss and be able to maintain that? How did you do it?
Yeah, so the way that I did that was really disciplined. It's really disciplined. There's no shortcut. There's no way to tell you that you do this, that, or the other, and it's gonna come off tomorrow. Well, if you don't eat right and you don't exercise, it's probably not gonna come off. And that's just the reality of it.
Discipline. You gotta be disciplined.
No, but then see, now we really didn't have to go there. You know what I mean? You want me to talk about your Superman picture again? Leave me alone. Kinna, go ahead, sweetheart.
So part of this weight loss journey that I started, the reason that I started was it wasn't about being physically attractive or anything like that. I was the size I was before since I was 12. This is the smallest I've been at this height. The reality of it was about, health and longevity. I have 2 boys. I couldn't fit on a ride at an amusement park. And that's really what kickstarted this journey for me. And if that happens, you know how that feels, right? Like, if that happens, if you feel like you can't do something because of your weight, you'll do anything to make sure that you're never in that situation again. But that was really what kickstarted it for me. And then to answer though your question about what did I do, like how did I sustain like being around all of these sweets? Well, it's all portion and moderation, right? It's all like the fact that I knew I was every day for my job, I was consuming about between 500 to 1,000 calories of sweets. It's sugar. Like, and so how do you learn to eat around that, right? Yeah.
So Kinna, let me ask you this, and I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm kind of curious to know, because I want to know where you were in this journey. I mean, were you at a certain weight before the journey started in terms of your starting to be successful, or did you find that you started to pick up the weight the more successful you became? Because when I started to make a little money and I started to eat, and it just really got out of hand. But I was an athlete, so it wasn't that bad. But is that when it started to happen?
No, so for me, I was heavy since I was 12. So I was already really heavy. Okay. And I was comfortable with myself. Let's talk about why I was comfortable, because nobody ever told me otherwise. I was always told I was beautiful, right? And so I never had like this, I wasn't deficient in that way about attention or, whatever. I never had that issue or anything. It was really down to the point where I could not fit on something, or my weight was stopping me from doing something that made me transition and make a change. It wasn't a sudden weight gain or anything.
But you know what? There's a story in that, in the fact that, I understand it's important to be healthy. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But and you can live a healthy lifestyle and not necessarily have to be a particular size. And you said because you didn't think of yourself, you didn't have that self-image or that, and socialize in a way where you had to be thin to be beautiful. Your people, the people around you, socialized you in a way where you thought you were beautiful exactly as you are. And I think there's a story other than that, you know what I mean? Just the fact that you felt like you were beautiful, even at the size that you were. So I think that's a testimony of it in itself. You know what I mean? I really do.
Yep. That's all I'm gonna say is yep. Because people would just say, "Oh, you look good, you're fine. Oh, you great," and like, okay, you think I'm fine. I'm 455, but you say I'm fine, but it's killing me. Yeah. It's killing me. So I'm not to say that you want to tell somebody, not to hurt their feelings, but be like, no, I need you to take care of yourself. I'm glad my father, I need you to get well because you don't want to have to be in the position I'm in or your mother's in. So take care of yourself and do something about this. That's what I need to hear, not to just say, oh, you're okay, you look good, you're fine.
So Kinna, when did this epiphany take place?
So it was at Six Flags, and it was literally 2 months after I had started this job where I was able to bring in the sweet potato pie. So I was eating sweets for a living now, right? Before I was buying jewelry, but now I'm eating sweets for a living, and I couldn't fit on this ride. And then another thing that really kind of tipped it all off for me is I traveled a lot for work on the corporate jet. And when you're in a corporate jet, it's so comfortable, right? Like the seat belts are long. You don't think about any of that. Well, I had to travel on a commercial plane. And because I was nervous, I had not traveled on a commercial plane in a long time. And because I was so nervous about that, I ordered a seatbelt extender. Now, this was before people had 2-day shipping and all that stuff. So I ordered a seatbelt extender. I paid $60 to get that thing to my house. Okay. Wow. And then I hid it, right? Because I was ashamed. Right. So now all of a sudden I'm conscious about my weight and I was ashamed. And so I had it in my little backpack, ready to pull it out at any moment. But, you know, I wiggled my way into that seat and held my breath and was able to get that seatbelt in, but it barely fit.
Hold on, Kinna, wait a minute. I travel for a living. I didn't know until this very moment that you could buy your own seatbelt. I don't mean
You're right. I mean, most people don't, but you learn. Oh yeah, you can buy one.
I mean,
yeah, you can buy one.
Wow, I have 1 million miles on several airlines. I had never known that you could buy it.
Yep, funny. I was scared though.
I hated it. I'm sorry. I hated that thing.
Wow. Well, so did you own yours or did you have to ask for it? Because that's the thing. If you owned yours, you could just do it on the low by yourself. So
no, I just asked for one. I ask for one every time.
Where does one go?
It even got so to the point where Southwest had me coded. So when that time I walked through the counter, they already just had me an extra seat available. I didn't have to pay for it. They're like, no worries. Add this piece of paper in the seat next to you, and I had 2 seats.
Wow. Kinna, where does one go to buy? Again, I should stop laughing because it's not funny, but
that hurt. I'm sorry. That was a moment I heard. Oh my God.
I'm sure because I've been on planes and I've seen the embarrassment when literally this is one lady I was sitting beside and she literally called the flight attendant over and made her bend down and she's like, no. And she, you know, can you give me an extension? And I felt so bad the entire flight. So I can only imagine what you had to experience as a result of that. But I did want to ask you one other question, Kinna, because I'm kind of curious, because I kind of grapple with this myself. Do you think you would have been able to achieve the level of success that you had if it had been any other celebrity other than Patti LaBelle?
I'm going to go with no.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with no. And the reason why I'm going to go with no is because it was divine intervention and purpose that she and I were together, right? We have a chemistry like no other. The first time I met her, she was like my daughter, you know, and we have a really, really good relationship. You know, she's just a kind person, good heart. And because of that, and, you know, she has 50 years in the industry, the music business, right? She's an author, an actress, you know, she's well known by everybody from millennials to boomers or Gen X to boomers. And like, everybody knows who she is. And so she was the right person for it. And, you know, the purpose behind it all for me is that she was set up to win too, because literally she had just gotten everything she needed in order to be able to brand in the way that she did. So it was just all meant to be together. So I don't think that there's anybody else that I would choose to partner with in the same way or anybody else that could have the lasting impact that she's had.
Because it was consistent with her brand.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And again, I'm ashamed to admit, I've never had one of these pies. And and you don't understand, Kinna. I am the quintessential sweet eater.
Kinna, he trying to get you to send the pie, girl. Don't fall.
Tia, I was almost there. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have. See, she always does. Kinna, she does. So I could still get it. It is not too late. Anthony asked the question that I wanted to ask. So it is not too late because I'm the type. You know, like when I go on Thanksgiving, they bake pies and they bake a pie for Rob because they know I'm going to eat that entire pie.
Yeah, it's all you.
Absolutely. So I'm glad to know that they are still available. And rest assured, I'm going to jump on my bike tomorrow and go.
So Google it so you can figure out what grocery store in your area in Atlanta is still selling the pies. You know, when you get it home, throw in the oven for a few minutes to kind of get it nice and just get it warmed up just right. Get you some little ice cream if you want to do some ice cream on top of it. Enjoy. Listen. I'm just adding all the calories.
Yeah, you are. I mean, I'm sitting here like, I don't know. But you know what, Kinna, let me ask you this too. I mean, I know that people ask you all the time, what can they do to get their product or service? Rather than ask you that, I'd much rather you share with those out there that are watching and listening the mindset that one has to have to go through this gauntlet that you have to go through to get to a moderate level. Not even the level where you are, just to be able to say, hey, because I watch Shark Tank, and I'm sure most people do, I guess a lot of people do, and they talk about, how do you get your product or service in some of these retail stores? Can you kind of go through what's required mentally to survive that kind of struggle, if you will?
Yeah, absolutely. What you have to go through is really believing in the fact that you can visualize seeing yourself in that spot and doing everything you possibly can do to get there. So that means you have to be educated. You have to understand the market, the industry, understand everything there is to know about competition, how they're priced. You have to be professional. There comes a point where you have to understand and utilize every resource you have available to you, and do that with as much gusto as you possibly can muster up and say, I actually need help. Call your friend who owns a business in XYZ, ask for their resources, start to utilize each other in that sort of way. And then also keep it real with yourself from an investment standpoint. Are you prepared to invest what it needs to take in order to take this to where you want it to go? And be realistic. So I've had people who come to me and they're like, oh, Kinna, I want to be in 3,000 stores. And I'm like, okay, have you done XYZ? No. Well, you can't even get to the point where we can even start to have a conversation about one store, let alone the 3,000, right? So there's a bunch of preparation that you have to do beforehand. And that goes to the education and resource piece of it all, and really understanding that as it relates to your business, the market, the price, the economies of scale, all kinds of stuff need to go into place before you kind of jump to that next level. Because if you jump there and you're not ready financially to be there, it can cause you some stuff that you don't want to have happen. So listen, I've seen some things work successfully where I've taken a business who was in no stores to 500, 2,000, 3,000, and now super amazing store counts, right? Like really done that and been really successful. And then I've seen on the other end, somebody committing to, I can do 500 stores and then they can't ship. And then customers are disappointed. Then I'm disappointed. And then there's just a whole journey, but just being realistic along that way and really educating yourself about the market and where you fit into that market is going to be key to success. I know that was long-winded, but that was a very complex.
It's perfect.
Because I know we're about to get up out of here in a few moments, but I want to know, so what's next? I'm not saying the next pie, but what's next for Kinna Thomas from Lane College? What's the next project or next big thing, or what should we look forward to?
I think the thing you should look forward to most is just me being authentically myself and putting my story and myself out there. I've been very, very vocal about things going on in our community as it relates to racial inequity. I've gotten a lot of good support corporately for things of that nature. I will continue to do that and continue to be a voice for Black and African-American people across this country. So you can look forward to me continuing to do that. And at the same time, continuing just to be a light and shining on purpose. So whatever God wants me to do, that's what I'll be doing next. That's really what's next for me.
So let me ask you this, to prevent you from getting a lot of phone calls and emails. Where should a person be if they have a product before they should look to try to contact you?
Yeah, so where a person should be is at the stage of manufacturing. Understand where it can be produced, where it can be mass produced. Have their packaging ready, have everything in order beforehand. I'm not a taste tester. I'm also not going to be anybody's consultant from that perspective, right? And so I don't want somebody shipping me in their mom's pies or their grandma's pies. I'm not looking for any of that. What I'm looking for is successful business ideas that can be turned into something long-term, to develop communities, to have communities continue to grow, right? And so,
I'm sorry, Kinna, I didn't
no,
mean to
go
cut
ahead.
you off, but I just wanted to be sure that Tia has put whatever information that you want to have made available in the chat. So if there are people that are at that level that you have suggested, that they'll have a place where they can reach out to you.
Absolutely, that'd be great.
Tia, you there?
She said yes. She heard you.
Okay, cool. So and I know that I've been pretty much monopolizing the questions because this whole thing fascinates me. And then there's one who has a business, who has not nearly the footprint that you have, but we've had close to 250,000 students to complete the CBCA over the last 20 years. And people just don't realize what goes into that. They see you now. They don't see all the things, the tears, the struggle that went into getting you to this place. And I think it's important for those that are out there that are laboring to try to achieve some of the things that you have achieved, to be able to have access to this information. Other than you as a resource, Kinna, is it are there any books, websites, any place that you can suggest that people can go to start to get the information that they would need to move their product or service forward, so potentially they could get to the point where they can contact you?
I tell you what I'll do. I want to take note of that and provide a list of resources that you all can, maybe later post. I will tell you some things I'm reading. I think it's always important to focus on the well. So well-being, you heard me talk about weight loss journey, being well-read. That's really important as well-spoken, making sure you can talk the talk from that perspective, and being well-dressed, right? Come looking like you belong for the occasion. But those are the 4 wells I like surround my life around. But I'll provide you with a list of those resources. I'll tell you a couple books I've recently read that I love. So Carla Harris has this book called Strategize to Win that I think is amazing. That's a resource that I continue to tap into. And I also tell you, there's just so much out there that I really want to do some due diligence and provide you a list. I take your question very seriously, so I want to provide you a really good, thorough list. And that's a thing about me too, and that thing that other people need to get in this moment, that I'm not just going to give you an answer because you asked me a question. I want to take the time. I want to answer it thoroughly, and I want to come back to you in a way that I believe is acceptable and great according to me, right? So I'll make sure to provide you with that list, though, for sure. I'll give you some podcasts. I'll give you all of that jazz.
And I know it's almost time for us to close, Kinna, but I wanted to ask you, I was looking in your bio, and I saw this Dear White Mom. And with all this going on right now, I think we would be remiss if we were not to ask you, what do you think about all that's going on relevant to Black Lives Matter and all those kinds of things? Because obviously you're conscious by virtue of the fact that some of the things that you've done and the fact that you would pen this letter. What are your thoughts in terms of where we are and where we're potentially going as a people? Okay,
so where we are, I'm completely hopeful, by the way, of where we're going. Where we are right now, change needs to happen. That's reality. Reality is that we have to be really honest with ourselves that change has to happen. What you don't know is that my brother actually lost his life to unarmed police officer.
Wow.
That was 26 years ago. Mm-hmm. I was young, but it still hurts the same. So I start to think about families and people who go through this on a regular basis. It's not just a moment in time where you see something or a new hashtag that's created. This is something that lasts a lifetime for families. And so part of the reason why I penned Dear White Mom was about letting people into the perspective of the life I live, letting people understand what it's like to be Black in a place where diversity right now is 2 to 3%, and being very honest about those experiences and sharing my family in that way. But where we are, I don't want to be here in 5 years. I'm hopeful that we can change, but it's going to take difficult conversations about race and being honest and unconscious bias being knocked out for us to be able to move forward. So that's one of the things I'm super passionate about talking. I will talk to anyone about that. I've had some amazing people reach out to me, and I'm grateful for that. But at the end of the day, all that matters is that we operate in our purpose and we figure out how to get past this whole race thing and acknowledge the fact that I am Black and I'm okay with being Black. I love being Black and I don't have to be anything other than Black because that's how I was born. And with that being said, I don't want people to feel like you have to change because that's who you are. And so that's my perspective on it. I'm super hopeful about what is to come, but disappointed with the state of affairs we currently have.
Yeah, right.
I like that. She said, just walking in your purpose. I'm sorry, I was having a few technical difficulties. I had to jump out for a second, but I heard you. I heard it all. That is amazing. Listen, girl, thank you for allowing
Got a lot going on.
Another look at what you do and how you do. And all sharing part of your journey, and we wish you well. Let's keep in touch. Certainly when you get those resources, we will certainly be able to go back and add those to our Facebook and to our YouTube and all that kind of good stuff. We can be able to go back and follow up and see all that good stuff that you share as far as those resources to be able to help those entrepreneurs with those next steps and what book reading recommendations and all that. Oh, wow. And Robert, I need you to go and make sure you stop by again. Go Google and find out where a local grocery store has the patty pie. So you can.
But you know what, Kinna, it would really be great to get an autograph pie.
You know what?
Each box has her signature.
Say what?
Each box has her signature.
The box has her signature.
That's not the same thing. I mean, I'm talking about Kinna's signature. I would assume that's Patty LaBelle's signature. I don't want Patty LaBelle's signature. I want Kinna's signature on the box.
You want me to buy you a pie? That's what this is. Like, you want me to buy you a pie? And listen, I got you. You know what? I got you. You don't even know how much I got you. I got you. Like, don't you worry about it. I got you.
When I go to the grocery store, I go to 3 places and I'm out in like 15 minutes. I'm not going around looking for anything. What? I'm just saying.
I can't.
I'm just saying. I'm not fooling around with bonus.
Kinna, thank you so very much for coming on to our HBCU Live Experience show. We're gonna let you get up out of here and go on with the rest of your evening with your family and all that kind of good stuff as we wrap this up. But thank you again. We look forward to the resources that you provide us. We wish you well in all your endeavors. And anything else that we could do here with the HBCU Live Experience show, if anything else we can help, if you got something else you want to come back and let us know about, you're more than welcome to come back anytime.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful.
Take care. Stay safe.
Wow. Okay, y'all. That was a good one. I mean, what Robert really was trying to get this patty pie.
I'm going to make that happen, bro. I'm going to make that happen. But man, I cannot let you go without telling us a little bit about this shirt that you have on, my brother.
Oh my God! So glad you asked.
I'm sure you are.
Oh my God! Why would you even think I would have an answer for this? Tia, you got it already pulled up?
I do.
Talkie, this shirt was designed by a friend of mine. She attended Spelman College. Her name was Dolores McCullum, right here in Cleveland, Ohio. She was an educator, she's a retired educator. I think she taught social studies and some history. And she has this whole series on her website called manage-classroom.com. Manage-classroom.com. And she has this whole series to teach young people the importance of voting. And she's got this Release Your Power and Vote, where she's teaching the United States Constitution. She's providing people about we the people, about the everyday struggles of the right to vote, the importance of voting down the ballot in every election, and training participants on how to be successful and to be self-advocates about voting. So if you want to purchase a shirt, they're there. Tia's showing you the website right now. It comes in a variety of colors. They even have it right now, even from our Hispanic Latino family. You got a shirt down there for you as well. So I figured I would just, this was kind of what I was able to celebrate. My 4th of July was about making sure people understand their voice is important. and that you need to go out there and tell and let people know and be able to exercise your voice. So again, Dolores McCullum, a graduate of Spelman College. She's a retired educator. She's got this whole successful classroom management initiative that she goes and she helps teachers and students be more engaged learners and be more critical thinkers, and that's what she's about. And I love what she's doing. I happened to run into her at the gym, actually, where we talked through our masks, through social distancing and all that kind of great stuff. But I'm so glad you asked me about her shirt again.
That's nice. I like that.
Your power, vote.
And it's poignant. It's a poignant message, man. So if ever there was a reason to vote, there's one now for sure.
So now, let's see what else. I don't know if there's anything else going on. Oh, I do want to remind everyone, if you are part of the HBCU Alumni United Facebook page, even if you're not, we are now, this week, we are raising money for Albany State University, Central State University, and Morris Brown College. So those are our 3 schools for this week. And we got some special guests coming on tomorrow's show. We got Chris Williams from Albany State, Angela Davis from Central State, and Erskine Alexander from Morris Brown College. Listen, I am so excited to talk to these 3 young people. I'm calling them young, even though I'm calling them young people. So it'll be on tomorrow's show, 9:30 p.m. within the Facebook group of the HBCU Alumni United, but I will share it to my own personal page and to some other groups as well. So you want to come and meet them. Listen, those 3 have already, they've been calling and telling all their family, their friends, their alums to hold on to their donation because they want to see the needle move tomorrow. So when we go live at 9:30, we're going to do a quick check-in to see what the totals are. And as we go throughout the progression of the show, we're going to go back and keep looking at the total board to see where we are with the fundraising for those 3. Now, real quick, I can already tell you that these young people have already been, I keep calling them young people, but these alums have already been out here raising this money like crazy. Central State is already over $5,000. So they already trying to beat Spelman, because Spelman came in with a whopping $13,000 last week.
So the whopping.
Yes, oh my God. So they came in here ready to rock and roll last week. And so Central State is like, listen, it's not a competition, but it is a lot of friendly rivalry, and they want to be able to make sure that every dollar counts, and we want to count every dollar to be able to support these young people as they go matriculate to and through their higher education process, whether they're in the classroom or in a virtual sense. But before they can even get, before we even, get them in school, we got to get them accepted. So if you haven't completed the Common Black College application, if anybody knows of any student, if you're still a student that was lingering from the class of 2020 and you still haven't applied, or if you are in the class of 2021, you can complete the Common Black College application right now. It goes to more than 50 schools. That's my state, that's my cover.
That's a good way to put it, bro.
So you can apply to more than 50 schools right now for a limited time only for $20 up until August 1st. So until August 1st, you can apply to more than 50 schools with 1 application, 1 test score, 1 transcript with the Common Black College application. Yep, you can. And it gets to all those schools simultaneously. Unlike another one, you still got to pay per and you got to upload per. Here, right now, these schools all get the application right then. If you want to sponsor a student, you also can do that as well. There's a link on the website where you can go and say, I'll pay for the students $20. Now, after August 1st, and the fee goes back up to $35 for that. And it is a tax deductible contribution if you want to. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. No, the CBCA, I was reading too fast. The CBCA is not tax deductible. However, it is worth every penny for you to help pay for a student to complete their application. So whatever you can do to support, we will greatly appreciate it. Again, it's right there. So I want to go back and real quick and just tell you about some of the fundraising goals. So far, we've raised $5,620 for Central State University. We are now at $1,330 for Morris Brown College, and we are at $1,400 for Albany State university. So just wanted to kind of give you those quick.
And Anthony, before we close, I just want to say one thing real quick about the college fairs. Your HBCU Live crew will be hosting the free HBCU Facebook Live Worldwide College Fair. There you go. On Saturday, July 25th. So if you're interested in registering, again, all you have to do is go back to the Common Black College application website to do that.
Are you interested in attending an historically Black college or university? Hello, my name is Robert Mason. I'm president and founder of the Common Black College application. On Saturday, July 25th, we'll be hosting, in conjunction with our partners, the HBCU Facebook Live Worldwide College Fair that is absolutely free to the public. During the course of the fair, you'll have an opportunity to meet with various representatives from different HBCUs from throughout the country, many of which will be offering admissions and scholarships on site. There will also be a financial aid workshop conducted by HBCU professionals. In addition to their celebrity appearances, and companies and organizations will also be conducting sessions. And again, in order to register, all you have to do is to go to commonblackcollegeapp.com. So we certainly hope that you will join us on Saturday, July 25th for the HBCU Facebook Live Worldwide College Fair. Thank you.
Hey, again, always, it's been fun, but we gotta run. It's been a pleasure again to be here. We thank Kinna for being a part of our show today. If you would like to be a part of our show, maybe you got something that you want to share with us, talk about your experience at your HBCU, as well as what you're doing currently in your profession or in your community, just drop us a message in the chat or send us a direct message to the Common Black College application group business page and let us know how we can be able to maybe interact. And we got some great people coming up. Tia is lining up some great people coming up for us this month, so we're looking forward to it. With all that said, on behalf of Robert Mason from the Common Black College application, I got Tia Marche Johnson from Ego Trip Media. I'm Anthony Brown from the National Alumni Council of the United Negro College. We thank you so very much again for tuning in and watching us. Always hitting that share and hit that like button. Let us know that we're doing a pretty good job. We're trying. And we'll see you tomorrow night in the Facebook United, Alumni United group. If you want to come and join us. If not, I'll share it to my page and some other places. I think that's about it. That's about all. Until next time, it's been fun. Shoot for the moon. If you miss, you always be amongst the stars. Always know that nothing is impossible because you are possible. Good night, everybody.
Take care, people.